Good morning. This is my presentation on Picture an Ecologist. Today my ecologist is Emily Choi. Emily Choi is an assistant professor in the Department of Biology at McMaster University. She studies the physiological response of climate change on seabirds. She is also currently an explorer in residence at the Royal Canadian Geographical Society, a non-profit organization. Her education consists of receiving her bachelor's in science in biology and concurrent education at Queen's University, as well as her bachelor in education at the outdoor and experiential education and concurrent education. She also received her master's from the University of Ottawa in chemical and environmental toxicology and her PhD at the University of Manitoba in biological sciences. Some of her experiences consist of being a field and research assistant at the Queen's University, a teaching and research assistant at the University of Ottawa, a Science Horizons internship participant at the McMaster University, and a research assistant, an inorganics evaluator, and a physical scientist, each respectively their own experience at a certain time for Environment Canada. And she was also an IASC fellow for the International Arctic Science Committee, a natural history instructor, and W. Garfield Weston postdoctoral scholar at McGill University, and a scientific advisor for the Weston Family Foundation. Some of her many contributions consist of being a professor at McMaster University, having research in beluga whales, a sentinel species, changes in the Beaufort Sea ecosystem, and she studied the transfer of contaminants such as mercury and other organic pollutants via guano, which is seabird and bat excrement from a large seabird colony. These underlined portions in the second and fourth row are links to her journal contributions and some chapters such as interactions between climate change and contaminants, dealing with the heat, assessing heat stress in Arctic seabird using 3D printed thermal models, and meta-analysis of the impact of drones on birds. Many of these are specific to seabirds, which seems to be a recurring theme in her work. She was also is currently involved in science outreach consistently, and has worked at the Canadian Museum of Nature as a science interpreter and a web blogger, and she's also worked at the Toronto Zoo and Chorus. Why I chose this ecologist. I chose this ecologist mainly because I am interested in climate change, and I love that she included seabirds as part of her research and her argument of climate change's existence and impact, not only, I guess, on a big scale, saying, oh, climate change is bad and it's affecting everybody, but focusing on just the seabirds and being oh, climate change very obviously is bad, and this is a way it affects a small population. And I also recently read an article on seabirds, and it kind of sparked my interest in their lives, and hearing about how current issues are affecting them was very interesting. And I love how much she has written on it and how extensive her research has been, and I think people should definitely check out her journals and her contributions. And then these are my sources. I mainly use her LinkedIn and a couple of other resources. Yes. Thank you very much. This was my presentation.